focuses assessment to well tide, data-driven geoscience for future of energy, and also for sea analysis, which was a physical series. And we were able to have the engagement or participation of over 250 participants across virtual and also physical sessions. We also had interactive session where we had question and answer. I'm sure we have winners, and I'm sure people are also looking forward to 2026, where we'll be winning a lot of prizes and gifts as well. So please stay tuned. Do not go out of any of our technical webinars. Join all our activities for the year. And who knows, you might probably go with a car in 2026. Okay, I do not know if the slide is okay because it's not moving here. Okay. All right. So technical learning, we didn't just do only technical learning. We also tried to mix it up. It was not also about learning and not also about technical, but it's also about direction and through sessions like your pathway to years graduate school and our mentors hangouts. Members had access to real stories, not just success headlines. We were privileged to learn from senior professionals who reminded us that careers are built in phases, not in spirit. Okay. Uh, one. Okay. I'm sure the slide is moving again. Please. Okay, one of the things we also tried to do was to balance things. We didn't just want to do only technical. We didn't just want to also do career coach. We also wanted to put it out there, balance. We talked about money, savings, investing, and discipline. And we talked about it because there's no point of building a career you are too tired to enjoy. Right? So this was one of the things we looked at as well in our 2025 activities. We also try to give back to the community, which is one thing that we have always prided ourselves with as a NAPI, as NAPI as a whole. Yeah, so in Bariga we had an outreach where we reached over 150 children with school supplies and welfare packages. We also had a career day at the Children International School Lekki. We also had the opportunity to gather and learn as a young professional at the Nature Park, Lifasi, for the World Geology Day. And lastly, we were able to have first-hand experience, on the during the World Hydrography Day, where we provided exposed geosciences abroad to Nigerian Navy vessels as well. Okay, so we wrapped up 2025 with the NAPE 43rd Annual International Conference and Exhibition, where we showed various activities, various engagement and auxiliary initiative, which included the YPLF, that's the Young Professional Leadership Forum, the Geoscience Challenge Book Quiz Competition, the Energy Pitchathon, the Meet and Greet Series, and so on and so forth. And we also ended it with a post-conference end of the year hangout, which we had the opportunity to have the presence of our the newly elect. Sorry, someone talking. Can you hear me, please?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Okay. Well, we had the opportunity to see the NAPI president, Madam Jumoke FNAPI, who engraced the occasion with her presence. So we believe this is just showing the highlights of other activities that we had, and we believe pictures also tell stories. So we're just showing the activities that we had together, of course, with the UAP, where we had programs in Kwasu, the NAPI NMGS mini conference. In summary, from Q1 to Q3, Nape-Yp delivered a total of 11 impact programs across technical learning, mentorship, financial literacy, and community engagement. This included 5 technical sessions, 2 financial literacy editions, 2 mentorship capacity building program, and 2 outreaches initiatives that promoted wellness, service, and social impacts. We had overall engaged 350 young professionals, both online and physical programs combined. One of our major highlights was the 12th NAPI NMGS Mini Conference, which we did in collaboration with the UAP, where we featured 23 universities, and Uni emerged champion in that competition. The year also was a successful one, where the Nape-Yp professional activities at the Nape 43rd AIC was also delivered, and it was successful. We had programs that centered on leadership development, innovation, academic excellence, career readiness, and professional network. You agree with me that together we can build the future, or we're rather shaping the future of this industry. The Nape-Yp leadership, we love to sincerely appreciate the continued commitment and support that made 2025 a success year, and we extend our heartfelt gratitude to the Nape executive, to the Nape secretariat, the senior industry professionals who are always ready to pick up our calls and contribute, our partner companies who also collaborated with us for the Nape AIC conference, our Nape-Yp advisors, and the entire young professional community as a whole for your engagement. I always see your posts for keeping the WhatsApp group live as much as possible, for your unwavering support of the Nape-Yp executive in delivering all the program and initiative from Q1 to Q4 2025. Um, Please, we would like you guys to scan this quickly. Who knows, there may be a gift for whoever scans it first. Uh, I can't promise you that, but stay tuned for that. But please, we would like your feedback, kindly scan the code. We like your feedback to help us, serve you better. This survey will take less than 5 minutes of your time to complete. So please, this is do well to air your thoughts, put your thoughts out there and let us know how to serve you better in 2026. Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Please confirm you can hear me, please. Just to be safe.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay. Okay. Share my screen. Okay.
Please, can we have a recording so some of us just join?
Of course. Of course. Recordings are usually shared after the meeting. So we have all the recordings on YouTube. Did you get that?
Yes, thanks.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. So thank you once again for joining. Like I said, don't be selfish with this meeting. So share with your friends, share with colleagues at work, share with people that this topic will surely benefit. You understand? And we know that what we are discussing today is so important. Biostratigraphy, you talk about the study of tiny fossils, like pollen, spores, foraminifera, algae, found in rock. And why do we want to check all these things to know how old rocks are, basically, to correlate layers from one location to another, to understand the positional environment, how interesting all these things can be. And our case study for today, Niger Delta, and the Gongola Basin, which of course we know how important these basins are. So without taking much of our time anymore, I would just want to invite our speaker. But before I bring him up, I would like to read his bio. So if you can see my screen, like I say, you can always read along. So this is a brief, like I said, brief profile of Mr. Tunbosun Owolabi. So Mr. Tunbosun Owolabi is a geoscientist with Sahara Group. He had his first degree in geology from the prestigious University of Ilorin, where he graduated with a second-class upper. So Mr. Tunbosun proceeded to obtain a master in engineering and hydrogeology from the illustrious University of Ibadan. His academic ability earned him scholarship funding from the Petroleum Trust Development Fund, that's the PTDF, for another master's in petroleum geology from one of the few center of excellence in Nigeria, University of Port Harcourt, as we know. He graduated. Oh, please kindly mute yourself. He graduated with distinction and was part of the team that won the InterVarsity Basin Evaluation Competition at Nape 2018. Mr. Tunbosun began his career with an internship with Chevron Nigeria Limited at the Department before moving to Juvico Energy Resources Limited, from where he rose through the rank from a graduate geoscientist to senior geoscientist. He has collaborated with multidisciplinary teams on over 10 projects, including but not limited to collaborative research on source rock potentials, unitization study, 3D basin modeling, field development plans slash assets evaluations, basinal study, fault seal analysis, and etc. His experience cut across three sedimentary basins, that's the Niger Delta, the Anambra Basin itself, and the Gongola in Nigeria. Mr. Tunbosun expertise has seen him make key technical presentations, such as the lead paper at the Nape Annual International Conference and Exhibition in 2024. That's a great one. He has gone on to write several publications in international journals. Presently, he works with Sahara Group as a geoscientist on the OML 11 assets, where he brings his expertise to fore in helping to identify and mature workover, intervention, sidetrack, and new drill opportunities to maximize value for the asset owners. Mr. Tunbosun currently volunteers with the NAPI Abuja chapter as its publicity secretary. So can we just make a reaction, as we celebrate, Mr. Tunbosun for this great feat as we bring him, up? Can we make a reaction, thumbs up? You can, make those reactions, even though we cannot unmute. It's not a physical meeting, but we can always still, do that. Can we see? I want to see more of the reaction in chat room. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And you can see Mr. Tunbosun in 3D in the video frame. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Tunbosun. The floor is open. You can go ahead, sir.
Okay, thank you all. Please confirm that you can hear me. And I'll be sharing my screen shortly. And please confirm that you can also see my screen. So I hope you can see my screen and that you can hear me very well.
Perfect. Perfect.
Okay, thank you. So before we delve into the presentation, I also want to recognize I've seen some of my bosses on the presentation in this presentation. So you are rest assured that if anything wants to go southward, they'll be there to rescue. I can see that Professor Bale from University of Ilorin, who happened to teach me, is also on this call. So I'm in very safe hands. We also have Dr. Jonathan Atunima and my ex-boss, Mr. Valentine Wichi, on which we work on some of these projects together. So I can assure you that you are in safe hands. So this morning, we'll be looking at the topic biostratigraphy application in de-risking geologic opportunities. And we are going to take case study from projects I have worked on in both Niger Delta and Gongola Basin. When we mention biostratigraphy, many things comes to mind, right? And I'm sure that many of us probably micropaleontology and is it palynology or whatever really scared us then in school and showed us in Nigerian parlance we will say shege. And some of us thought we would never deal with it again until one or two things actually dragged us back there. So we try to make it as interactive as possible. Don't get bored. I will try to make it quite interesting, and please don't sleep. So you can always check on your neighbor to confirm that they are not sleeping. I'll try to make sure that you don't sleep. So the question is, what seekest thou here? What are you looking for? Let's see. I'll be running us through the outline where I will just give us a brief refresher, probably for some of us who have forgotten, and for some of us who also probably just need one or two refreshers on it. Give us a brief introduction, explain to us some key terminologies. Then we will look at 2 case studies, one from Gongola Basin, how we were able to apply biostratigraphy beyond, the thorough of picking fossils, identifying it is one thing, picking it is another thing. Do these things really have real life applications, especially in the oil and gas industry? We will see that by the time we delve into our case studies in both Gongola Basin, Niger Delta, before we take our conclusions, and we also have some interactive session. So I would want to encourage you that you pay attention, because some of the quizzes that will be coming will be from some of the things that have been said here. And please confirm that you can still see my screen and hear me.
Yes, we can hear you, but we can't see your screen. So you might want to share again.
Please let me share again. Please, the moment it goes off, please let me know so that I can always because I can't see it. I'm using just one screen.
Oh, all right.
Okay. So, what is biostratigraphy? Basically, we are looking at another branch of stratigraphy where both the horizontal and vertical distribution of our fossils is used for 2 major things. The first one is to establish the relative age of those rocks. And after that has been done, it becomes important that we correlate these rocks, these sedimentary rock layers across, especially in areas where we have either outcrops or wells. Biostratigraphy on its own relies on one simple principle, that with time, we see evolution of organisms. Now, what that means for us is that we are able to then know specific fossil assemblages that mark unique time intervals. So it's because these fossils occur within certain times, that is why we can use them as biomarkers to mark relative ages of this rock. It means that for us to successfully understand what biostratigraphy is teaching us, we have to combine both the knowledge that we have or principles that we have from our stratigraphy and paleontology. So one key stratigraphic principle that must always remain at the back of our mind, I remember in 200 level where we were being taught this, I think is a topic on stratigraphy, which is the fauna succession law. And what does it tell us? It simply states that fossils will succeed one another in a definite and determinable order. What it simply translates to is this in layman terms. Unique fossil assemblages reflect different depositional timings. Now, when we are matching these fossils, what kind of fossils are we looking for? Our fossils can either be terrestrial in terms of pollen and spores, and we can also have what we call marine fossils. These marine fossils can be nanofossils, they can be foraminiferous, they can be diatoms, and what all of this helps us to do is it allows us to do a stratigraphic correlation along very large areas. Many times than not, we are used to doing lithostratigraphic correlation, where we simply look at well-log motifs and look at whether we have a fining up or a coarsening upward signature, and we try to match them, also looking at the thickness of the shale beneath or above those sands. However, while log signatures might look similar, it doesn't state that it is the same sand bodies you are looking at, because those sand bodies that look quite identical in terms of their log motifs can actually be deposited at different times, but by the same environment. Therefore, biochronology, which is the study of fossils to determine the relative age of rock and define specific intervals of geologic time, is actually very key to us. And this geologic time that is being defined by these fossils are actually identified or called biochrones. Okay, what are some key terminologies we must put in mind? And I'm sure some of us have heard this, some of us are hearing it for the first time, but these are some of the things we would use. And you will see some of these terminologies being repeated by the time I go into case studies of how we're able to use this to, apply this knowledge in demystifying some issues that have been lingering for quite a long time. The first keyword here is the FDO. That's first downward appearance or first appearance datum. What it simply translates to is that it is the lowest stratigraphic taxon occurrence. That is the first place where you are spotting a particular fossil. Then the opposite of it would be the LAD or LDO. LAD is last appearance datum, while LDO is simply last downward occurrence. It simply translates to the highest stratigraphic taxon occurrence of a particular fossil. At that point, where you are marking your LDO, it either represents an extinction of a particular fossil, or it simply tells you there has been an emigration. You know, this Jackpot syndrome is not only human beings that jackpot. Sometimes you can also have organisms due to different environmental conditions doing their own kind of jackpot. So in this case, the way we know it is by the LDO. Why? When you have an immigration, that is the first time an organism is coming into an environment, we actually see it as our first downward occurrence. We also have what is called the biozone. Is a boundary between your LDO and your FDO. We have what we call a reworked fossil. Now, reworked fossils are simply fossils that have been eroded from an older rock and redeposited in younger sediments. So at times, you are seeing fossils that mark a certain age, let me say Maastrichtian, but you are now seeing them deposited in. And those fossils have been known globally. They have been marked globally to mark probably the Maastrichtian. But suddenly you are seeing those fossils being deposited in tertiary sediments or in recent sediments. It simply tells you that that fossil you are looking at is a reworked fossil. If care is not taken with this, what it will result into is that there will be a age misinterpretation. So while we are doing some of our interpretations, we must also be careful to note that we are not dealing with a reworked fossil. We also have what we call occasional. So it's in palynology terms, what it means is that when you have 2 to 4 counts of a species in 60 field of view in paleontology, we will say that that particular fossil is occasional. Okay, more terms, I will just pick some key ones so that I don't bore us with too much details. We can also have a situation where we say a fossil is abundant. In terms of palynology, if we have 16 to 25% of it, or we have in micropaleontology count, you have about 21 to 50 occurrences of it, and in nanopaleontology, you have about 17 to 120 count of a particular species, we say that that particular species is abundant. But when it comes to superabundance, it simply means that the number of counts of that particular fossil is actually, in micropaleontology, you see it more than 50 times. While in nanopaleontology, you see it over 121 times in 60 field of views in nanopaleontology. The one that most people will be familiar with is Acme, where it simply means that we have a species in its highest number. That is when that species thrived the most. Probably there were environmental conditions or whatever that made that fossil to thrive. So you are going to have its highest occurrence. In statistical terms, you will say you are looking at the modal occurrence of such species. Okay. Still defining some key terminologies in terms of, event and temporal terms. When we say Acme, which I have defined, I've simply mentioned that it's where you have exceptional abundance of those zones, right? You also have what we call an assemblage zone. An assemblage zone is simply characterizing a specific fossil association. While when we speak of interval zones, we are speaking of the, that distance between the first downward occurrence and the last downward occurrence of a selected fossil. I have a simple cartoon here that shows us an example where we are looking at, when you pay attention to what I have termed A2, that's an assemblage zone. Within this assemblage zone, we have the first downward occurrence of this species in blue. we had to load some of this data into Petrel to do this work. Where you will see where that blue organism seems to terminate is his last downhole occurrence. Now, that interval that you have between the last downhole occurrence and the first downhole occurrence is known as your interval zone. Now, we have a unique situation here where we have two distinct fossils that are occurring within the same time range. So when we have this range of occurrence, what do we call it? We simply call that zone a concurrent zone, where you have two or more fossils that overlap between their first downhole and last downhole occurrence. Okay, now fossils can either be macro or micro. In this case, we are dealing with microfossils. Now, microfossils are quite abundant and are widespread. And I'm sure that by the time you hear the word micro, it simply tells you something that is small, which might not be seen with the naked eye. They are abundant and they are widespread. And that makes them very important, crucial tools that is useful for us in subsurface biostratigraphy. Now, what are some of these common microfossils that we use? These microfossils, like I mentioned earlier, they could either be terrestrial or they could be marine or aquatic. Even when we are speaking of the marine or aquatic, they can either be benthic, bottom dwellers, or we can be looking at pelagic, surface dwellers. And examples of the benthics include your corals, your foraminiferas, your ostracods. While when you are speaking of your pelagic, you are looking at things like your calcareous nanofossils, your conodonts, your diatoms, and even some of your dinoflagellates, of which one of the most popular that we all know is the foraminifera. Now, I have been able to define for us some of these microfossils. Other key ones that you also have to put in mind are your palynomorphs, which are your pores and spores. Now, your pores and spores are actually very useful in dating your terrestrial or continental deposits. Okay, I want to think that interaction is not for me. Okay, how then do we go about this analysis? This time around, interestingly, you will not be going into the lab to pick those fossils. They showed me a little bit of paper in school then. So, you could either be looking at a micropaleontological analysis or you are looking at a palynological analysis. What does it mean when we say we are dealing with a paleological analysis? It simply means we look out for relative ages, we look out for zones, and then we look out for relative ages, we define assemblage zones, and we also pick out what are the pollens or spores or be them dinoflagellates that define each unique assemblage. And the same line of thought is also applied when you are looking at micropaleontological analysis. In terms of micropaleontology, what you are dealing with in those instances are your forams, your diatoms, your ostracods, your radiolarians, or your calcareous nanofossils. We would now be moving into our first case study of how all of this knowledge is being used, right? So, here is it, Gongola Basin. We know that exploration is currently ongoing there in the Gongola Basin. However, there has been some issues about understanding the stratigraphic subsection of the Gongola Basin. The popular one we have always known is, yes, we define it as, and when you speak of the Gongola Basin, we are speaking of the Upper Benue Trough. From the works that have been done by Keta et al., Poff et al., Zabowski, and so on and so forth, you will notice one thing, and even Ojo 1999, you will notice that there's around the Maastrichtian Campanian, there's always been a layer that we have always referred to as the Gombe sandstones. Now, this formation defined as the Gombe sandstone simply implies to us that what we are looking at within that particular formation is we are looking at a lithology that's primarily defined as just sandstone. So follow the story. This is from 1963. This is the earliest reference I could get. If they are older ones, probably you can help me with them. But I know of Keta et al., 1963. Now let's take a journey down memory lane. And most times than not, some of these definitions were done using just outcrops alone. Zabowski in 1999 still defined this particular area of interest, the Gombe, as purely sandstones, and he also called it a transitional environment. Obaje also in 2003 defined this place purely as sandstones. But by the time it was 2005, we can begin to see that an interesting question began to come up from Obaje in 2005, where, let me pick up my pointer, please, where he began to mark, even though we could see this unconformity, there was a regional unconformity that marked the Santonian, and it's traceable when you go from either Gongola Basin down to even the Anambra Basin. The Santonian unconformity is something that is well known. But suddenly we see that he has defined this layer as the Fika, which dates sometimes Santonian Conasian, but by the time he came into the Maastrichtian Campanian, he was also seeing something. The Fika is purely a shale. He began to see a shale that he could not explain, probably, and he called it Fika, and also put a question mark behind it. So does this mean that we are seeing the Fika occurring both in the Santonian, and after this unconformity, we still have the Fika being redeposited again? That was where the question began. So uncertainties arose around the definition of lithology. And probably most of this work is because outcrops have been used for definition up till this time. Sorry, I seem to have a lag. Okay. So as of 2008, we would see also that Abubakar et al. In 2008 also raises this question about these deposits within the Maastrichtian Campanian, which he put a question mark asking if this is Fika shale or not. And the same objection was being raised by Obaje et al. In 2009. Mind you, we had that major unconformity between the Santonian and the Campanian. Now, what and how can we resolve these uncertainties, and what does this mean for us in terms of hydrocarbon exploration, especially within the Gongola Basin? That is where biostratigraphy steps in to help us as, permit me to use the word, a savior. So what was done in this particular project? 6 assemblages, A1 to A6, were defined using a combination of both micropaleontology, mineralogy, micropaleontology, palynology, and also mineral assemblages for us to be able to rectify what is really going on. 5 chromosomes that were defining unique stratigraphic intervals were identified and correlated across 2 wells within the basin. How were these chromosomes identified? We simply used ACME, remember, superabundance. We also used the first downhole occurrence and the last downhole occurrence or appearance of some of these fossils to be able to properly date and define what our stratigraphic succession within the Gongola Basin is like. So we started with the youngest one, which is the Keri Formation. And, from research that has been done over time, we're able to use all of these assemblages to date this particular zone. And what we noticed is that there was a complete disappearance of all foraminifera assemblages that marks the Cretaceous within this particular zone. And some of these assemblages are the R. triangularis, C. apatites. I don't want to bore you with those names, but they are what you can see on the screen. And we have to refer to work that has been done globally to mark the Cenozoic age Work has been done by German et al. Up to even Sudaman in 2011, and we're able to mark those zones. And you will see that assemblage one, how we used, these fossils to mark the Keri formation, and shows us where we have the distinction between the Cretaceous there. And we move to the zone of interest. And the first thing that caught our attention was the fact that where has been defined as the Gombe Formation. By the time we looked at the well log, we could see that beneath the sandstones from the GR log that defined the Gombe Formation, there was a thick sequence of shale, about 1,000 to 1,005 feet. And we began to ask the question, what does this mean for us? So we went ahead to use some of our assemblages to properly date and mark the fossils that will help us to mark the Maastrichtian Campanian, since the Gombe Formation has been dated to be between the Maastrichtian and the Campanian. So for the first assemblage, what we call the assemblage one, permit me to pick my pointer, please. What we defined as assemblage one here, we used what we call the L marginatus, which mark early Maastrichtian to late Campanian. We use markers that are known globally, and we're able to identify all of these, right? By the time you look at the column codings and you look at these, you'll be able to pick them out. We're able to use it to mark both the Maastrichtian and the Campanian for us. Then we paid attention also to what we call assemblage 4. And in assemblage 4, we had the L. van der Berge that helped us to mark the late Maastrichtian. Now, further work that has been done by Nwojiji et al. In 2013 actually used the last downhole occurrence of the Moderator species, and also the first downhole occurrence of A. australis and the acme of the L. van der Berge to mark the late Maastrichtian. An equivalence of this zone has actually been marked in the Anambra Basin by the works that was done by the same Nwojiji. And one thing that also gave us confidence that what we are looking at is actually the late Maastrichtian is that we're able to mark the presence of coal. Remember, I told you that we used both forams, pollings, and also mineral assemblages, because generally coal presence has been used to mark the Maastrichtian, as has been reported in the lower coal measures that were found in the Mammoth Formation when you go into the Anambra Basin. So you can see, geology speaks to itself. Okay, to further demystify it, the team went ahead to look at what are some established marine dinoflagellates that have been used to mark the Maastrichtian. And some of these marine dinoflagellates that have been used to mark the Maastrichtian are what we have defined in Assembly 3, Assembly 3A, and 3B. And some of them are listed here, like the Senegalium bicavatum and the Spiniferites. You also have the dinoflagellate Acuminatum. Forgive me with those names. And one other thing that was of very good interest to us is that we were able to mark within that thick shale sequence that we are seeing within the area that we are calling Gombe. We're able to mark the presence of agglutinated foram abundance within those zones. And these agglutinated forams have been dated to be Maastrichtian. Now, what does this tell us? It tells us further that what we are looking at within that thick shale sequence is that we are looking at shallow marine processes that must have led to the deposition of those shale sedimentations that is being seen within the Gombe Formation. Now, this means already that a redefinition would have to be given to the environment of deposition for which we have always understood the Gombe Formation to be. And that's what the next slide will be talking about. Now, due to the presence or the relative abundance of some of these index fossils, index forams, and the overall provinciality of bentop forams, it suggests that the depositional environment we are looking at within this place is pointing us towards an open marine setting. Therefore, the team was then able to revise the understanding that we have always had, especially with the use of the biostratigraphic data that we have now. We have been able to revise our understanding that what we are looking at is we are looking at Gombe formation to have two members. When you have an upper sandstone member that is a transitional environment, and you now have a lower shale member within that same Gombe formation. Mind you, we said this lower shale member was dated to be Maastrichtian Campanian. So, here is a revised understanding based on what we could, based on what our biostratigraphic data showed to us. We can now see that the Gombe formation actually has a sand member, which is now defined as transitional deltaic environment, and it has a shale member, which is dated Campanian, and we can now define that environment as an open marine setting. So we can see that after the first marine incursion that deposited the Fika in the Santonian, there was an unconformity, a global unconformity that is markable anywhere. Then you now add another open marine, a marine transgression that led to deposition of the Gombe shale member before we had the regressive events that deposited the Gombe sand members that is dated Maastrichtian. This was a work that was done collaboratively. I'll be giving the reference to this particular work at the end of the slide. Okay, furthermore, what it tells us, okay, one major question it answers for us is that in the Gombe formation, due to the shallowness of the shale, that thick shale sequence that was seen in the Gombe formation, it might not qualify as a source rock in shallower areas of burial, but it can serve as an effective seal. If you remember your petroleum system elements, there are key things that we look out for when we are going for petroleum exploration. We look for the presence of reservoir rocks, of source rocks, of seals, of traps, and of course, our critical timing. So one key thing we have been able to identify using or demystify, one key thing that has been able to be identified is that we have the presence of a competent seal in the Gongola Basin, which will most likely be our Gombe shale member that has been defined. Don't worry, we're almost at the end of the presentation. I hope nobody is sleeping. Please check with them. So case study 2, our own Niger Delta. So for confidentiality sake, I had to hide the name of this particular field, but we're also able to use biostratigraphy in understanding what is going on within this field. We had about 4 biozones, that's the P788 or the P800, the P784, and the P770 zones. And there was only one foraminifera zone, which is the F9600. Now, one thing it helped us to understand is it helped us to understand what setting, what geologic setting, what environment of deposition are we looking at? Where are our sandstones deposited? Now, the F9600 zone, which is what you are seeing in blue on both wells, my pointer, on both wells, this is the F9600, and you have the F9600 ending here, actually tells us that what we are looking at is we are looking at a shallow marine setting, and whatever deposits we are looking at within this place is either an inner or mid-neritic depositional environment. Now, we're also able to mark, we are also able to use the understanding of what we had seen to mark the sequences of our deposition, where we had, our progradation or retrogradation, and we're also able to use this to mark or count the number of sequences that has been seen in this particular field of interest. Now, for the P7000, that's the polling 7000, and the marker for P7 770, sorry, 784 and P800 shows us that we are looking at a classical transgressional and regressional cycle as deposition transits between your swampy brackish conditions in the P770 to your transgressional and surface or deltaic progression that is being marked by your P784 or your P800 environment. What it means for us is that the depositions of reservoirs that we are looking within these zones. Sorry, is that sound coming from my hand? Okay. That we're looking within these zones tells us that the deposits we are looking at here are surface or delta front environments. And we can see this from either the coarsening upward or the fining upward of our sand signatures. And for the petrophysicists in the house, you'll begin to know that when we are looking at your surface environment, be it lower surface or upper surface, it has implication on the petrophysical properties that you'll be looking at in terms of its permeability and its porosity. So these are classical examples of where, biostratigraphy has been used. And in this particular work, the biostratigraphy was tied to also what the sequence stratigraphy is saying for us to have a good understanding of the kind of environment of deposition that is playing out within this particular field of interest. Okay, what conclusions can we draw? And I hope you have not been bored. The first one is that in dating our stratas and in reconstructing our geologic models and map, the knowledge of biostratigraphy is actually key. Biostratigraphy also gives us insights into, paleo-environmental changes or reconstruction. It can also help us to mark extinction events throughout Earth history. When there is a combination of biostratigraphy with other methods like your chronostratigraphy, your sequence stratigraphy, or your lithostratigraphy, it gives you a detailed stratigraphic framework that gives us a more robust understanding of geologic processes and our Earth's history. So this is where our conclusion will be for now. I don't know, Mr. Moderator, these are some of the references for the work that was done. Like I mentioned, we had this work done. It was a work between NMPC and Juvicool, integrated stratigraphic reassessment of Gongola Basin. The paper was published with Nape, so you should be able to access it to see more details on the work that was done. So before we delve into the question and answer session, because I have some questions that I have set out for those who are listening, then the answers to it, and I think there are prizes there. I don't know if the moderator would like to see anything before I move into that session.
Okay, thank you very much. Hope you can hear me, sir.
Yes, I can.
Oh, thank you very much for this awesome presentation. I was just saying, wow. So this particular topic, like you said, that we're all it was looking so boring when we were in school. Can be so interesting like this, and so graphical as you were moving through, trying to explain as much as you can. So thank you so much for putting this good work together, and we really celebrate that. Thank you so much, Mr. Tunbosun. Thank you so much. So for our quiz. Really, so the way it should go is we just I think we have about 5 questions, and we have about 5 we just need, don't worry, to go around. Basically it's to go around. There's a prize, just a token. I won't say the price, you understand, but it's something, something good for the weekend. Yeah, something that when it's dropped in your account, to put a smile. To put a smile in your face. Yeah. So don't worry, we are coming to question. If you're raising your hand, we are coming to question. This is just a quiz. So Mr. Tunbosun will go through it. So the way to go is that it's going to display the first question. It will run for about the display will be for about 30 seconds or thereabout. So if you know the answer, you type it. It is not it's not a quiz that has options, you understand? So it's more like German. So you just have to answer it like that. So you answer the question, put the answer in the chat box. So we monitor it. So the first to answer gets it. You understand? When we go to the next one too, the same thing. So once you put your question in the answer after the 30 the chat box, after the 30 seconds, we show the answer. If you get it, then you're good. Then we'll go to the next question, the same thing. So, but the thing now is that because we want it to go round, if you win the first one, you understand? And it's looking like you are winning the second one again. We have to move to the next person that answers after you so that you can go round. You understand? So there's love in sharing. Yeah. So thank you very much, Mr. Tunbosun. You can go ahead, sir. In the chat box monitoring.
Okay, thank you all. And I hope I didn't bore you people too much, please.
No.
Okay,
No.
the first question.
Yeah, Mr. Tunbosun, you might want to display your full screen so they won't
Okay.
see the yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh,
Yes.
sorry.
Yes.
Okay. Just let me know when the time is up.
Oh, we are good to go. Yes. It's time up.
Okay, so I can switch to the answer.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Okay. Everybody is saying, but nobody's putting his own. Do you want to permit that?
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. You don't have to
Okay.
put zone.
Okay.
So I guess we can move
Okay.
to the second one. We must have
Yes, we
picked your
can.
winner
We have
now.
a winner. Yes, yes, we can.
Okay, good.
I think we're good to go now. You can
Okay,
share.
so tada, the answer. I hope we're having winners.
So we have assemblage.
Okay, you can. It's good. It's good. We have that.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so I move to the next question. Question 3.
It's like this answer will be like triplets.
Yeah, it's triplets actually.
So guys, this is it. It's just a test of knowledge, and something to appreciate. Okay, we're good to go.
Okay, so
Hmm, hmm. Okay.
I hope the
Okay, we
questions
have
are
a
not too
winner.
tough. Okay, we
Yeah,
have a
but
winner.
we
That's
are
good.
having a winner here. We're having a
Okay,
winner.
that's good. So it means they are not too tough. Okay, so this one will show those who paid attention. So
I, I like that.
this should come with 4 answers.
Come again. I'm not sure
I
I
said
got
this
that.
should come with 4 answers. So you have to identify what is marked by A, C, B, and D.
I think we're good.
Okay, so to the answer.
Okay. FDA. Oh, FDA. Okay, we have DO. Okay, we have a, but I think we already have this person before. Uzoma correction. Yeah, so we are still waiting for the winner.
Okay.
So
Well, whoever got that actually paid a lot of attention. And that's very impressive. So I think
so
the
we should allow
toughest.
it, right?
Yeah, he or she paid a lot of attention. That's quite
Okay.
impressive.
Okay.
Well, except the person is a biostratigrapher. So
so we allow the
then I
person is a
think,
second time winner.
oh,
So
I
that's
see.
why.
Good. Good. Okay, I think the last question, I think this is the toughest. And anybody who gets this actually should get something special.
Okay. So guys, you can hear this. Please mute yourself. Check, make sure your mic is muted. Thank you. So guys, you can hear that. Say we can get this something special. I didn't say it. Not from my mouth, from the Aussie's mouth.
I think he or she should get. So probably the UAB
Okay.
chair can come in there and help us.
I'm trying to extend the time by some seconds to give.
Okay.
Okay, I think we can have it now.
So you can see why I said it's going to be tough. Anyone you mention is correct. Anyone. It's okay. I just listed as much as possible. Anyone. I doubt if anybody will do that.
Yeah. Someone's laughing. So
The
we
person
have
should just be given a scholarship to go and study back.
foraminifera. We have
foraminifera is a large name. So what kind of forums are you talking about?
we have LSPP. We have
LSPP.
We have L Marganatus.
Who mentioned
We have
Marginatus? Wow.
we have agglutinated foraminifera. We have foraminifera dinoflagellates. We have conodots, forams, ostracods.
That person is playing Banjoko.
We have longaperite, vanendebagi names. We have Afro-Bolivina afra. So
Really?
I think the very first one we have here is L. Magnatus.
Okay. Which is this?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so that's
good.
Okay. Okay.
I'm impressed, sincerely.
Oh, so that's best on peace. Oluwapelumi.
Oh, really? Okay.
All right. So I think we have it. We have a winner. So I think from the our presenter today said we can have what's his name? We can have where is he? Oluwabukumi Moraki, or second time winner again, because at least he paid attention for him to have gotten that. So we allow that. So all right. So I think we can go on to the Q&A session now. So
Okay,
but before we go, so I'll leave it to you. You can close out, sir. Yes.
Okay, thank you. So
Yeah.
in dinosaurs word, I'll say thanks for stomping by, and also thanks for listening. And I hope you were not too bored. So let's take some questions, and please let me give this what's it called? I am not a biostratigraphy specialist, so please come easy on me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So you can have your question, you can send your question to the chat box. Let's see that. Send in your question. And if you want to speak, you can raise your hand. Please, if you want to speak, raise your hand now so that question will not bet question. So please raise your hand now. Please. I plead that you. I know Oluwabukumi Muraki, your hand is up. So that's number one person I've seen. Any other person? Any other person? Any other person? Any other person? Is it a hard topic? Any other person? Okay. Since let's have Murakiyo. Murakiyo, you can unmute yourself and go ahead. Let's have you.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Mr. Tunbosun. Thank
Good
you very
morning.
much for that wonderful presentation. I really learned a lot. So my name is Oluwabukumi. I'm a recent graduate in University of Ibadan. So I currently developed interest in reservoir characterization and geomodeling, and sequence stratigraphy is one of my major area of interest. So seeing someone that actually has this amount of knowledge in the use of biostratigraphy for um, sequence stratigraphy is a really big plus to us. So I really appreciate. So my question is, when we are given, let's say, a biostratigraphic data to work with, and we are trying to divide our zones or to characterize our zones into different stratigraphic layers, we can notice some specific abundance of a particular um, let's say maybe a foraminifera now. It's abundant from the top of our well to the base of the well. But how do we like classify each zones, each assemblage zones into like this is for particular year, this is for a particular year, this is for a particular year, because some foraminifera actually occur from the top of the well to the bottom of the well. So how can we divide it, and how can we actually correlate it across well when we are doing our correlation using biostratigraphy?
Okay, excellent question. Very, very good question. So I will answer it in two ways. The first is this. The usefulness of a fossil is when you can use it to identify specific ages. And that's why we mentioned the word index fossils, right? And another thing I want to mention is the beauty of this work comes out when you are dealing with, let me say, for instance, you are dealing with 2-3 ages that are quite different. For instance, in the Gongola Basin, we were looking at Campanian Maastrichtian. We also looked at the Santonian Conician. We went as far as the Cenomanian. Now, because of that large range of time we are looking at, right, you are able to pick fossils that will work within those specific times. But if I have a well, for instance, that just goes maybe only through the my well data goes only through the maastrichtian, for instance. So it simply means that from top to base, I'm just going to have information that marks only my maastrichtian alone, right? So that's one way to look at it. When you have a larger age to deal with, you can then look for specific or index index forums or index fossils that will help you to mark specific age ranges. Then also, like the work that we did in the slide I shared for the Niger Delta, we're able to mark different environments of depositions using our pollens, the P770, P780, P800, and so on and so forth. So we also have those ones that are of shorter time intervals that can either help you to mark your environment of deposition or that can help you to mark certain ages also within that large age group that you are looking at. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yes, it's answered one part of it. So
Okay.
if we want to correlate, so we say using the first downward appearance and last downward appearance, let's say the particular fossil experienced just a very short interval, and we're able to actually identify it. So should we say whatever fossil that we see that has a very short lifespan occurrence, and we'll be able to notice a first down occurrence and last down occurrence, should we put those type of fossils index fossil and then use them to correlate, or how do we actually identify the index fossil? Is it based on a depth thing? Is it an abundance thing? Like, what do we use specifically?
Okay, so I will share my screen again and show you a practical example of how we used it in this case. Give me 1 minute, please. Okay, confirm that you can see my screen.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So let's pay a little attention. So when you look at this, we had 2 wells. And if my memory serves me right, these wells were about 4 to 6 kilometers apart, right? So when we wanted to do our correlation, we wanted to mark where the beginning of our Gombe formation is and where the end of our Gombe formation is. Interestingly, we didn't even have well logs covering those particular zones, but we had our what's it called? We had our biostrats. Now for the Keri, right, which is in the Cenozoic, we were able to use the particular biostrats that appeared within this time range. So we looked at, for some of them, what you have to look at is either the first downward occurrence of that particular fossil is marking a particular age, or it could be the last downward occurrence of that particular fossil that helps you to mark a particular range. What do I mean? Let me say you have fossil A. Fossil A might appear first in the companion, and the last time you'll be seeing it is somewhere in the maastrichtian. Do you understand? Why? You can also have a situation where you have what we call fossil B that appears only within the companion. So in this case, we were able to mark our companion events or our companion events or our companion depositions using the start and the end. That's the first downhole and last downhole occurrence of this agglutinated forams. Forgive me. We're able to use that to mark where our Gombe formation starts and where it ends. For some, like I mentioned, it is the last downward occurrence of it. For some, it is the first downward occurrence. For some, we simply just look at where we have the acme zone to mark it. But in this particular case, we're able to use it where we had where we were able to mark with our agglutinated forams in this case. If I also show you, yes, this slide of interest. Good. pay attention to assembly 3B, you would see that from start to finish, we're able to use either the first downward occurrence or last downward occurrence of a combination of some of these species to mark what our Gombe formation is. And when you pay attention to also that same thing in A3B, the well that is close to it, you will see almost similar occurrences of those fossils. And that's the way we're able to do that correlation between two wells that were about 4 to 6 kilometers apart. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for answering that, Mr. Tunbosun. So we have another question here in the chat room. You say, thank you for presenting, sir. When you were presenting, you mentioned that one has to be careful not to reclassify a reoccurring species. So how can one differentiate a reoccurring species from a main one?
Okay, good question, Chukwuemeka. Very good question. So this is the answer I will give to you. These fossils have been known to mark specific times. For instance, a fossil that is globally known to mark the Maastrichtian, for instance, let me say a particular agglutinated forum. You have known that this thing has been seen globally, not just within Nigeria, but across other basins. You have seen them occur within the Maastrichtian. If suddenly you are seeing that particular fossil in maybe the tertiary or recent, and it's most likely a localized event, you have to start asking yourself questions. That what you are looking at here, does this fossil actually belong here? Because from what we have been able to, correlations have been done across basins globally around the world. This species and this fossil actually occurs within or marks a particular time. And we are not expecting that we should see it there. So in those cases, we know that we are most likely dealing with a reworked fossil. That's the name. So what we are looking at in that case is probably a reworked fossil, because globally, that fossil has been used to mark a particular time, but you are now seeing it in a far younger deposits. Then you know that you are most likely dealing with a reworked fossil. I hope that answers your question, Chukwuemeka.
Please kindly mute yourself if you are not speaking. Thank you. Chukwuemeka, I hope your question has been answered. If you are where you can't speak, you can just simply type in the chat box.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. So, and I also want to, I know that here we might have people that are just engineer, so just joining us. They are not really geoscientists, maybe an economist, and you're interested in the big deal of this industry and all that. Or you're an admin, maybe administrative role and all that. I just want you to understand that what we are basically talking about here is that, biostratigraphy is like using fossils, as a geological clock, majorly. So we're identifying, fossils in rock sample, as geoscientists, we can tell how old the rock is, by, matching, correctly across different of wells and all that. So you can just pick these things to really know what time do this formation occur and all that. It's like using a time clock majorly, but you're using these fossils, to tell and all that. So let's just say in short, just to help us avoid guessing underground. You understand? We're not guessing, so we are sure by what we see, by the fact that we see. So just to add, one or two questions before we go again. So on general knowledge, for young professionals, right? Mr. Tunbosun, you can still hear me, right?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, thank you. So for young professionals, so how would you explain, biostratigraphy in the simplest possible way? And I just said it now, but for young professional now, in your own way, I know there's a lot of technical words in this and all that. So in the simplest possible way, how can you just, say
Okay.
this?
So thank you. In the simplest possible way, I would just say we are telling the rock, how old are you? We are celebrating his birthday. but this time it's a belated birthday, right? So we're just asking the rock, how old are you, sir? Then we move to rock B. How old are you, sir? The moment we are able to say rock A is so and so years old, in geology, we speak of millions of years, and it's one quarrel I've always had with engineers. So let's say this one is 5 million years old, and we are looking for a particular maybe sand, right? And you go, how old are you, sir? And that sand tells you, okay, I'm also 5 million, 5.1 million years ago. We can say, okay, you, A and B, you are actually deposited by same environment of deposition, probably same deposition, you understand? You were deposited literally at the same time. So it's for us to correlate, to match those sands. But the matching now is not based on physical appearance, right? We are doing, I don't know if it's going to work as a DNA now. If DNA works, I don't know. Maybe the doctors will help me. But you are just looking at their relative ages, and with the ages, we can tell this deposit and this deposit are the same thing. And it's actually more accurate than doing stratigraphy a lot. Because by the time you do your biostratigraphy correctly, your biostratigraphic correlation correctly, you are going to see also that your sequence stratigraphy will tell you the same thing. Because, for instance, where you have your acme of particular ones within your shales should help you mark your MFS. And when you understand also how all of these things work, it tells you where to chase your best sands. Because when you understand sequence stratigraphy, you know where your best sands are, you know where your source kitchen was deposited, you know where to target your seals and all of that. You begin to bring in more information about your LSTs, your HSTs. I think I'm going too technical already. All we are saying is we are just looking at those sand bodies, looking at their relative ages, and using their ages to matchmake them. Simple. I hope that was simple enough.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much, sir. Thank you very much. And we know that this will surely help us. This help us save time, money, and even reduce risk once we have
Exactly.
a very good understanding of this. Yeah. So another question I want to ask, on the risk and decision making around the risk and decision making. So what are the common risks when biostratigraphy is ignored or poorly applied?
Okay, especially you find this information very useful, especially when you're dealing with exploration in exploration areas. If your biostrat is not correctly applied, you might be doing a wrong correlation. You might be targeting wrong sands and all of that. So it's very crucial for you to have a generalized knowledge of what is going on around. And also in exploration, you might just be missing your target because you are especially in terms of exploration, right? You might just be missing it. So it's very crucial, especially in areas where you're looking at exploration. It's very crucial there.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. So I'll just give you a minute or so you can just wrap up, round up, and all that. So you can
Okay,
go ahead.
I can see Dr. Ifeanyi's hands up. Please, a doctor should not be asking a
Oh,
Mr.
okay.
question. So please, I hope I'm not being set up. Dr.
Good morning,
Ifeanyi,
everyone.
It's double
I was
a
and up,
doctor should not be
double
asking a
and.
Mr. question, please.
I think I should have abbreviated my name so you wouldn't know I'm the one. That's the problem with these things. I was, in fact, I should have just put something else so you won't say Dr. Vivian is here. I didn't want that title to even come out. But thank you. I just wanted to say thank you very much for this very great, beautiful share. My morning just got brighter listening to you, even though I came in late because I had another program I was anchoring. I just wanted to quickly also add, for everyone that this is important. I know, to be brutally honest, it's one of those courses that I didn't like in school in those days. I don't know how I managed to make an A, but somehow we passed and we moved on. Paleontology and all of those. But coming and being in the industry, I see it is very important. It is actually key. Because imagine looking at a seismic section that has a bunch of peaks and troughs, different colors. It doesn't tell you anything. It just tells you they all look similar. Peak, trough, and that's it. And then you have a structure. The question is, what happened during this particular peak versus the other peak, or this particular trough and the other trough? We do not know. And that's where Biostrat comes in. It tells you what were the living folks in that time at that location, and what does it tell us globally in relation to what we know globally in terms of what was the sea level doing? Was it falling? Was it enough of what was the temperature? What was the organic matter content? And how does it match with the timing of expulsion of hydrocarbon? So, which is why biostrats put some life to something that, in my opinion, is static, which is peaks and trough. It doesn't tell anything until you start imagining, okay, when did this happen? How does this trap I'm seeing in terms of timing relate to when hydrocarbon was expelled? And I think that's where all the evidences of timing and biostrat and everything comes in really handy. And another element I want to point out is this in terms of scale. Imagine a 30 hertz data, a seismic section, 30 hertz data. One peak trough pair, or rather one peak is about 15, 20 meters in vertical sense in real life. So it gives you a perspective of scale, which is something that on seismic you can never get. But with biostrat, you can tell how frequently has things been changing, and in a vertical sense, you get a lot more information compared to using seismic alone. So my point is, it is very important integrating biostrat to everything you do using seismic or any other data, because this is the ground truth. It puts some life and time into the events that you see that are largely static. It tells you what this peak and that trough mean in real sense, as opposed to just interpreting things in isolation. So thank you very much again for this one. I really grabbed some new knowledge listening to the last part of your discussion. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Ifeanyi. I don't know, I'm humbled to hear that you learned from me. It's humbling. But it's, like Doctor said, it's very crucial, because in crucial timing, if, for instance, there has been expulsion from your kitchen before your seals were formed, it simply means that when you go into that place for exploration, you most likely will not find anything. So you can see where biostrat comes in handy, and I mentioned that especially in areas of exploration, you need that very crucially to know when your reservoirs were formed, when your source rock was deposited, when it's generated, when it expelled. Do I also have a seal in place at that particular time? And that's the story you are able to tell, with that, and you correlate it with your sequence charts, and you tell a very beautiful story at the end of the day. You can understand what's going on. Thank you so much, Doc. Thank you.
Yes. Since Doc came in, and I was just thinking in line that what will people be thinking and all that, and the question just came to mind, because I know that this is very important. It's very important topic, about stratigraphy and all that. So I was going to ask for everybody, on behalf of everybody now. So what skill really should the young professional develop, specific skill, to develop if they really want to specialize in biostratigraphy?
I think that's a trap question. The truth is, the truth is, as a career in geoscience, I've hardly seen adverts that calls basically for the skills of a biostratigrapher as a standalone. So what I'm going to advise many times than not is that you pick up pieces of this knowledge, right? Understand the fundamentals of it and know how they apply in other spheres of the geoscience world, especially in the oil and gas. Yes, we have some exploration going on, but most times our focus is on already developed areas of brownfields like our Niger Delta, right? Everybody is chasing the low-hanging fruits. And yes, effort is kicking up on exploration and all of that. So in areas where you have very serious exploration, yes, as a biostratigrapher, you stand out, but I'm going to also mention that it's good that you understand these basics and also know how to have other skills, right? So that you are well-rounded and well-sorted, right? So I'll just say it's a skill you should have so you can relate what biostratigraphy, lithostratigraphy, sequence stratigraphy, the story is telling. It makes you a more rounded geologist or geoscientist. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very, very much, Mr. Tunbosun. Thank you so much. So, but before we round up, I would just want the UAP chairman, Mr. Falabi Fatumbi, to just speak to us,
I
on this.
saw
Would like
him.
to hear from you, sir.
I saw ML raise his
Yeah.
hands. I don't know if he has put it
Ah,
down, but I saw ML.
okay. He raised. Yeah, I saw that too, but I think probably the question have been answered or something.
Okay,
Oh,
Ibrahim,
I
go.
see. Oh, yo, I see Mr. Ibrahim. Welcome, sir. You can unmute yourself, sir. You're welcome, sir.
Good. Can anyone hear me? Confirm if you can hear me, please.
Yes, we can.
Okay, it's been an amazing learning time here. All I want to say is that UAP, you guys are digging it out here. But so you just took me back to class. Well,
Oh, is it just me or
Yeah, I think his network is poor.
I think it's network.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
okay,
think
okay,
his network is poor.
okay,
I think Mr.
okay.
ML wanted to speak,
So
and
ML,
then we have the baby.
yeah, yeah. You can go ahead, ML.
Oh, thank you very much, sir. My Oga, Mr. Tunbosun. That was a powerfully delivered session. Thank you very
Dr. Lawal, is that you?
much.
I caught you, sir.
Okay. So I just wanted to add that for young professionals, they just need to, especially students, focus on your basic stratigraphy and paleontology. Then when you grow, then you will have a more rounded skills to biostratigraphy. Why I dropped my hands raised was that because you already mentioned it, so I didn't need to say it. So in geology, basically, or geoscience, everything has to do with you putting things together in an integrated form. So it makes more sense. Integrate every techniques that can help you resolve a particular problem. And thank you once again for this opportunity. We have learned from you.
Thank you, Dr. Lawal. Thank you, sir.
All right. Mr. Falabi, sir.
Yeah, thanks so much. First to our speaker, our seasoned speaker, Mr. Tunbosun Owolabi. I think it's important that you do not just break this down into a simple language by talking about a birthday. You also mentioned things around immigration, emigration, FDO, LDO. So you were able to connect the dots, especially with our young professionals and maybe students that joined. But I think more importantly is the direct application in terms of the case studies. Not so much about the names, because I think a lot of geologists do not necessarily like these botanical names, but they are quite important because of their uniqueness. When we say index foxes, what is more important also that I would like to add is beyond exploration, there's also been a lot of direct application of high resolution biostract to even reservoir scale, development scale, in terms of solving issues from the, let me say, semi-base of the pyramid, where you're just talking about the sub-regional, to even well, where you have basic well issues in terms of correlation. Are you crossing faults and age dating, especially using biostrat at the well, like on-site well biostratigraphy is also being applied. So in terms of scale, Dr. Ifan, you mentioned scale, you can see that we have great applications from exploration even down to well sitting for development. So I just want to say special thank you to everybody who joined the meeting, and hope to see you again. Enjoy your weekend and stay safe.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. So special appreciation to you, Mr. Owolabi, Mr. Tunbosun Owolabi. Thank you very much for those insights. Today's session has shown us that biostratigraphy is not just about fossils, but a powerful tool for reducing uncertainty, improving subsurface understanding, and supporting smart exploration decisions. So we appreciate the practical example from Niger Delta and Gongola Basin, and we hope young professional, us in general, yeah, right, can apply this lesson to our own career. So thank you, everyone. Thank you very much. So quickly, let me just quickly share my screen. So there's a form, right, in the chat room. There's a form in the chat room. So for the next, let me say 1 minute. So it's a feedback form. You can just quickly fill this, right? And we've got prizes again. We've got prizes. So this time we charge price, for the first 5 person to fill it. So you can just look for the form and just quickly give a feedback, very short, as I go through, the rest of the program that we're
Okay,
having.
so sorry, a quick
Yes,
one.
so
I think one of my bosses just mentioned that he's giving 5K for every question answered. So that's more minutes.
oh,
Yeah, he just chatted me privately.
okay. Oh, wow, awesome, 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 awesome. So we celebrate him appreciation to you, appreciation to your boss, appreciation to Sahara. Thank you so much for this awesome presentation and and the gifts. We so much appreciate this. We so much appreciate this. So quickly, so I will just bring up Mr. Dumome. Mr. Dumome, are you in before I rush into the announcement? For the vote of thanks,
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. All right. You guys have said it all. Mr. Fatumbi has also spoken. I just want to say thank you so much to Tunbosun. Despite the very short notice, he agreed to, facilitate this session, and I believe that everyone here have learned a lot, and we'll be seeing more of him. And I believe he will be willing to talk to anybody that is interested. You can add him on LinkedIn. His name is Tunbosun Owolabi, if I'm not mistaken. So thank you very much, Tunbosun. The YP community is very grateful, and like I said, we'll be bringing you more for our event. Tunbosun is a very vast geoscientist. So yeah, that will be all from me. I believe Sheon is in the meeting and is going to close the meeting for us after the announcement. So you can go ahead, Abioye.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Dumome. Thank you also for putting this together. That's our technical, chief technical for the YP. We come up with the topic, and seasoned speaker for this. So me, I'm just doing my feet, as the public secretary, just doing the first, rundown for the moderation. So here we have I'm already on, into the announcement already here, and I believe already filling the form also. Don't forget recharge for the first 5 persons. So here you can see the ESCO. In case you don't know your YP ESCOs, you all should know Mr. Oluwaseun Ogundipe is the YP lead, Betels as a deputy lead. You can see my screen. Olaitan Kobiowo as the event and welfare manager. Abel, you heard Abel's voice, at the beginning of this meeting, speaking about our program last year, and now you can position yourself this year also. We have different programs, physical ones. We had, an awesome physical event last year on Fort Eve analysis. It was so awesome, at Ingentia. Who knows? Maybe tomorrow we'll be coming to Sahara for another one, or maybe DigiConnect, or maybe Albert Solution, or maybe Total, anyone. So you just position yourself, to see our programs as they come up. And if you're not following us, I used to say, please follow us, because if you are not following us, you will not get all this information. So when you see myself, Abioye, publicity and media, and I tell you, I have a lot of team that will work together to make all these things happen. Some of them are in this meeting, and they are doing awesome. So we have Uche Ohali is the provost, and you have Daniel Abe, which of course is the financial secretary. So, and yeah, so this is more like an highlight of, our 2025 program, which Abel already, give a run through of, which we'll be having our charity events, sometimes, ending of next month or probably the first week of March. So a charity event where we go out, and we share the love, in practicality. So we step out there and and we share love in practicality. So then I want us to also look forward to our next technical meeting, which is going to also be coming up by February, and also health series also coming up. So it's either it's going to be technical meeting next month or our health series. So this health series now is more like a push over. We're supposed to have it like late last year after the conference, but we just allowed everybody to just have a break after the whole conference, learning and all that. So we just feel that it would be good that we start with how to manage our health and all that this year. So it will be coming in the Q1 of this year. So let's stay tuned, to this. So then, we must have gotten email, from Nape to pay your due. And one thing I know is that as young professionals, we are we are more like the principal also contributor to our association, because of course we are young. You understand? We are vibrant and all that. So young and vibrancy also means that you participate. You understand? So you can see it, as part of NAP's effort to support all members in getting most, out of NAP membership. So you can see that only about 21% of about 16,000 members. That's a lot. Only 21%. That's a low, or a low percentage. So we are encouraging us to please pay up our dues. Yeah, it's just 12,000 naira, right? For YP, and students is just 2,000 naira, and associate is 12,000 naira, corporate member is 50,000 naira for membership. So please, let's pay up, right? So to ensure, we continue delivering high value program, safeguarding legacy of it that have been entrusted with us, we encourage every member to pay their due. So this is one thing that you owe, you owe NAPE as an association, for giving out value. You can imagine what we had this morning. I used to tell people that some of these things, you might need to go to a paid, a paid session where you have to sit down and pay, though they'll serve you tea and all that, yeah, but you pay for it. But these are things that we get, on a platter of gold. Just look at me sitting down, in the corner of my room, and learning all this. You understand? So it's really awesome for free. You understand? Now, some of it too is our technical meeting that we have every month, physical technical meeting in the hotel, where we go in and all that, we get to learn, we get to ask questions, and it's so awesome. I tell people, NAPE is so balanced. We have the elderly who have the experience, we have the people in the middle, I call the connectors, people that we can relate to directly. Sometimes you might not be able to relate to the elderly because of, imagine 1970 something, you are not even giving birth to them. So NAPE is so balanced that we have all this age group that we can ask questions. You can imagine yourself, you can see your future somewhere, somehow. You understand? So I want us to really, pay up our dues, and just to our own contribution to the association. So you can see on your screen, the account number is displayed and the contact of the registration officer, Mr. Mayowa. So please, let's pay up our dues. And finally, if you are not following us on social media, you are snoozing. I'm telling you, you are snoozing. You are not following us. Oh my, you are not helping yourself. So this is not the year where you don't want to follow us. You want to follow us back to back this year on all our social handles. So please, I will encourage us to please follow us. We are on LinkedIn, we are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, and all that. And also don't forget that every of our this meeting is recorded and it will be uploaded latest on Monday next tomorrow. It will be uploaded on YouTube, so you can always go and rewatch and watch and rewatch. And for the slide, those who are asking me if the speaker is going to give us, the slide and all that, we're going to communicate that with him. I know he's still on this call, so he's going to answer that. So if it's possible to get the slide, we will, and eventually we will send it and share it to the community. So if you are not on the community also, I'll drop my number here on WhatsApp so you can chat me up and we can get you in there. So we have a WhatsApp community and all that. So quickly, we have about 4 minutes to the ending of today's meeting. So I'll quickly bring up Mr. Shimu, who is the YP lead. So to quickly give us a closing remark, and after then, everybody turn on their camera, we'll take picture. These are culture, we do this here, and for record's sake that you were here. All right, Mr. Shimu, if you can hear me, you can go ahead. Thank you for this opportunity.
You can hear me. Confirm if you can hear me.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can hear you.
All right, thanks. It's already time is fast spent. Thank you so much to everyone. To our speaker, Mr. Tunbosun Owolabi, a geoscientist with Sahara Group. Thank you so much for delivering this beautiful presentation on biostratigraphy application in derisking geologic opportunities with the case study of the Gongola Basin and Niger Delta Basin. It was truly educational for us all. And to our moderator, Abioye, thank you so much for coordinating this session. As we mentioned a couple of times, Abioye is Publicity Secretary for the Nape-Yp. We thank our UAPC for creating time to join us. Mr. Fatumbi, thank you, Owolabi Fatumbi. Thank you so much for all the support, for being our voice at that level for the young professionals of the association, NAPE, and to the immediate past UAPC. I see you. Thank you as well, Dr. Ifanyobi. And I know there are several professionals and lecturers. Time will not allow me to go around the table, but thank you so much to everyone who has contributed. And to the over 75 people that were available, that were on this call up until now. So all of you that have stayed up until now, thank you for creating time. I hope you've learned so much to go back to whether your university or your professional life, and then to put them into practice. On behalf of the Nape-Yp community, I really want to extend appreciation to everyone. For those behind the scene as well that have planned this, led by Timome, who is the head of our technical committee at the Nape-Yp. Thank you so much to everyone. If I've missed your name in any way, apologies. But I say thank you to everybody that has contributed to the success of this activity. It's 1 minute to 12. I say thank you. Do have a nice and restful weekend. Bye for now.
All right, thank you, Mr. Shion. We can all turn on the camera, turn on your video. Let's just take this picture together. Yeah, let's do it quickly with this remaining, And don't forget, follow Mr. Tunbosun on LinkedIn. And my name is Abioye too, Abioye Banjoko. Follow me on LinkedIn. So thank you very much, and follow our social handle, Nape-Yp. Please do follow us. That's the only way we can stay connected. If you don't see, you can put on your camera. If you don't see an announcement on YouTube, on Facebook, you can always see it on Instagram. If you don't see it on Instagram, you get it on, on LinkedIn. So please, let's quickly do this. I'm taking the first screenshot. I'm waiting for the others.
Seeing the camera now.
Okay. Thank you for those who put on the camera. Thank you for joining us today. So please have, a wonderful and peaceful weekend. Thank you for joining. See you next time.
Thank you.